I come to you on my last upload of 2023, ready to dive into the world of Reddit dating advice once more, because it's what we deserve and it's what really we need today. It is. Let's be honest and real. What's up, you guys? How we doing? How we feeling? If you're new here, my name is Maddie, and I love being in other people's business. I'm half kidding. And half not. As a lot of you may know, I really do love lurking on various internet dating forums because they're some of the most vulnerable places on the internet, and I just find that so refreshing and endearing. Additionally, I love to give my 2 cents. I'm someone who loves completing a survey. If you have ever been in a statistics class and had to make a survey monkey and you posted it on the internet like, God, someone please take this survey, I've taken it every fucking time, okay? I love giving my input. And these advice forums where people get to bare their heart and soul to a bunch of strangers on the internet just calls to me. I love it so much. They're some of my favorite places. Today's video is sponsored by Dipsea, which is my absolute favorite audio erotica platform. If you're not on the audio erotica bandwagon yet, you're missing out so aggressively. I don't even know how else to tell you that you're missing out. You are leaving pleasure on the table, my friend. It's the best way I can put it. It's just an app right on your phone that is full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on. Personally, I'm really into moan audios, which is exactly what it sounds like it is. It is just someone moaning in your ear for 5 to 10 minutes at a time. It fully transports you into the scenario where you are listening in to someone masturbate, or maybe there's two of you that have slipped into the bathroom during a party and you're trying to be quiet, but things are heating up. Things are happening in there. And now I can lay in my bed and fully immerse myself in this situation as if I was there as well. And it's fun and it's sexy and it plays specifically into what I think is hot. And they've got hundreds of stories on here and they're constantly adding new stuff. So no matter who you are or what you're into, there's definitely going to be something for you over on Dipsea. And as always, Dipsea is offering viewers of my channel a free extended 30-day trial when you go to dipseastories.com/partylikeMaddie. That's DIPSEA stories.com/partylikeMaddie if you want to get a free extended 30-day trial to test out Dipsea for yourself and figure out what the fuck you've been missing out on. I texted him after being ghosted. I know I've seen a ton of advice about not texting after being ghosted, and for the most part, I get it. Like, there's no need to be needy or chase after someone who doesn't want you, but I, 29 female, went on 2 dates with a guy. He was flirty, touchy, and very engaged on our dates. He said he would reach out after the second date. He did not. And I thought, you know what? I know this is over, but I'm a human and I'm too old for this crap. Like, bruh. Be an adult and let someone know if you're not interested. So I texted him and let him know, hey, if you're not interested, that's totally fine, or maybe you got too busy, but either way, I'd appreciate knowing. And it felt good because he replied, and I know that my message calling him out made him uncomfortable, and that's all I wanted. To let him know, hey, we're all humans out here trying with feelings, and as uncomfy as it may feel to let a gal down, it's way better than just disappearing, and it's healthier. Again, I know I won't be praised for doing this, and I didn't do it to get him back, but more to call him on his shit. 10 out of 10 recommend being kind, but firm and letting someone know they need to adult up. Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the school of belief that whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better and empowered in the face of ghosting is what you should do. If it would make you feel better to just sort of wipe your hands clean of it and move on with your life, you don't need to call them out or educate them on why they should be treating you better. You just sort of need to move on from it and be like, well, clearly this is beneath me. Someone who can't communicate is not someone I want to be with. So you know what? I don't want to be with you either. We don't even need to have a conversation about it. If that's how you feel and that's how you want to handle ghosting by not talking, I say fucking do that. Who cares? But if you would rather call someone out directly for ghosting you and ask for an explanation, I also think that that's fine too. I'm not someone who believes in playing the who can care less Olympics. I don't think that it's embarrassing to call someone out and be like, what's going on? I think it's embarrassing to ghost someone. I think it's embarrassing to not know as an adult how to use your words and communicate. If you don't know how to use your words and communicate, you probably shouldn't be dating at all, but that's just my 2 cents. I get why people say the whole like don't text them when you're being ghosted sort of thing, but it's always to save face. People tell you to do that because you'll appear so much cooler and more aloof, like you didn't even think about it at all. But is that really the goal here? If we're trying to date and be vulnerable with each other, is that the goal, to be playing the cool girl Olympics and the I don't care Olympics all the time? I think if it would make you feel better to call someone out on the fact that they are ghosting you and being a shitty communicator, then you should do that. I've gone both ways before in my response. I think usually I will lean towards calling someone out though. Not necessarily calling them out on ghosting, but calling out that their communication style is not in alignment with mine. So I don't know. I think however you want to react, whatever would make you feel the best and most empowered after someone has treated you like that is what you should do. I would never judge someone for whatever path they chose to take. Who I do judge is the adult that has refused to communicate. He's a 10, I'm a 7. So guys, there's this guy I met on Hinge and we've been talking every day for over a month and we finally got around to organizing a date tomorrow. We get on really well, but I'm worried he's too attractive. I think he's a solid 10, extremely handsome, intelligent, and interesting. He's obviously the type to get a lot of female attention. I've been hurt in the past by men who are very superficial, so I have no interest in dating men who are conventionally attractive. I prefer personality and energy. I'm a bit overwhelmed to meet him. Would it be silly of me to cancel? I fear rejection and I don't want to feel awkward. Any words of advice? First of all, I think ranking people in that way speaks to your own insecurities more than any level of truth. I've always found those videos that people make on TikTok to be so stupid, where they'll go around and ask people to rank themselves, and if someone has self-confidence and ranks themselves high, they'll get made fun of in the comments for making themselves too high. And then if you rank yourself super low, you're just sort of like degrading yourself. And it's like, well, that's sad that you honest to God look at yourself and think that you're a 2. I think in a dream world, we're all ranking ourselves highly. I hope that everyone has high self-esteem and feels happy with themselves and looks at themselves in the mirror and thinks that they're a catch. I think that everyone deserves to feel that way. I think ranking each other or ranking ourselves on these like arbitrary beauty standards that are constantly changing and are oftentimes unrealistic is just like nasty and not the way that I treat other people or myself. And I just think it's something we should do away with altogether. I don't think it's necessary. The problem here isn't that he is more attractive than you are. He's a 10 and you're a 7. The problem is that you're being mean to yourself and you're not appreciating all the wonderful things that you bring to the table. You are judging yourself so harshly that you're considering canceling on a date. You are anticipating being judged and rejected by another person, and this has brought you so much fear that you're basically willing to get in your own way just to avoid feeling this potential what if scenario where he meets you and rejects you and you take that personally. Honestly, I think you should cancel the date. Not because he's out of your league or for any of the reasons you have listed, but because I don't think you're in a healthy headspace to date right now. Nobody gets excited at the possibility of being rejected, and obviously rejection is always on the table when it comes to dating. And I think we need to have at least a little bit of solid footing beneath us when it comes to processing and accepting rejection in order to date in a healthy way. Because if you're always taking it personally and taking each rejection to mean something about how lovable you are and how you personally measure up to other people, I think it's just going to grate away at you until you're eventually forced to confront the problem head on and dig into why it is that you feel so shittily about yourself and why you are so deeply afraid of rejection and what rejection makes you feel towards yourself. This sounds like something you should totally be talking to a therapist about, but it sounds like you're just getting in your own way and you're judging yourself way too harshly. I'm sure you're a catch and you do not need to be comparing yourself to the people that you date or ranking yourself on these made up scales. All right. I'm going to totally rip this line from American Fiction, which is a movie I saw recently, but there's a lot of people out there that are gonna love you and you should let them love all of you. Great line. Is it a turnoff to ask a woman if I can kiss them? So I'm in my mid-20s and I've never kissed anyone. Been on a few dates, but never ended one in a kiss. Moment just wasn't there. I'm just worried about how to approach this when I eventually go on a date with someone that I want to kiss. First question, is that usually a first date thing? Second question, and what I'm mainly needing advice with, is it a turnoff to ask if you can kiss them? I really want to respect the boundaries of the women that I go out with. I feel like if I just go for it and they don't want to kiss, that would be a bigger turnoff, right? But I've also heard that asking to kiss signals that I have no confidence and I'm not forward. I really just feel like asking is respectful and less awkward. I think I'm just really anxious about my first kiss in general. Especially at 25 years old, I just wanted to see what the consensus was on asking first. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I've definitely heard mixed responses to questions like this. If you're asking me personally, I do not think it's a turnoff to ask someone if you can kiss them. I've been asked plenty of times on dates if someone could kiss me, and I've always found it to be quite charming and endearing, and it does come off as just them being sort of a sweetie pie who's very thoughtful and respectful and wants to make sure that I'm comfortable, which is hot to me. So I have never found this to be a turnoff personally. However, when it would be a turnoff to me is if we were on a bad date and I had given you no indication that I might be interested in you like that, and then you asked if you could kiss me after we've had like the shittiest date ever. So I think you still need to read the room a little bit and read the connection if you're going to ask this. If you just had a fantastic date, you've been getting a little flirty, they've given you an indication or two that they might be interested in you, I think this is totally appropriate to ask at the end of a date. Is it stupid to keep dating someone who doesn't know if they want a serious relationship when I definitely do? I, 34 female, recently started dating a man, 41 male, I met on Hinge. We've been on 3 dates, all initiated by him. He's shown signs of being interested and he seems like a genuinely good person, but there was a 3-week break between the second and third date and we have not kissed yet. It hasn't even been particularly flirty. The conversation has flowed and we have lots in common, but it hasn't been that deep. I was wanting to move things on a bit, so on our last date, I asked him about past relationships and what he's looking for. He'd put figuring out my dating goals on Hinge, which I only noticed after we'd matched. He said he's been single for 5 years and he put that because he's unsure if he wants something serious. This freaked me out and I said I don't think we should keep dating because I don't want to get hurt if I want something serious and he doesn't. And I don't feel like he's particularly enthusiastic about me. Then he said he does want a relationship but is just very slow and doesn't want to rush. He said it was a circle of uncertainty and he's unsure because I'm unsure about him and he was confused and a little sad. We've messaged quite a bit since then, but I said we should take the romantic pressure off for now. I like him and can imagine this going somewhere, but I also don't want to end up down the line trying to persuade him to be in a relationship or to move things to the next level and getting really hurt, etc. Does it seem like I should cut my losses and not see him again, or should I try taking it slow and see where it goes? I'd keep dating other people until he wanted to be exclusive anyways. It's just more to protect myself emotionally. He's a very laid-back person, whereas I'm more of a type A personality and don't do well with uncertainty. That's partly why I'm drawn to him, but could also be a source of conflict. Any advice? Very welcome. Thanks all. If this was like a 22-year-old man that was so full of uncertainty, I would have a lot more grace than I will for a 41-year-old. Here's the thing. I think we're all allowed to be uncertain at any age, but I think that at some point it is selfish to go out with people and waste their time if you don't know what you want. I'm 26 and I think it's a red flag when people have figuring out my dating goals listed as their dating intention on Hinge. I would rather you have your dating intention set to short-term relationship and casual hookups than you say you're figuring out your dating goals, because that to me just tells me that you're gonna waste my fucking time. If you are unsure about what you want, I think you should get off the apps and go figure out what you want out of life with a fucking therapist and some alone time. I don't know. I think it's kind of shitty to use people that are clear with themselves about what they want and what they're looking for as like a means of self-discovery for yourself. If you don't know what you're looking for, I think that you should leave people alone until you do. You ask him about it. He says he's unsure if he wants a serious relationship. You reacted like an adult and said, oh, well, we probably shouldn't see each other then because I know that I do want a serious relationship. And then he goes, oh, well, maybe I do. Yeah, I'm unsure because you're unsure. No, he's 41. Like, I think he's way too old to be acting like this, to be honest. Also, it just grates on my fucking nerves when somebody says like, oh, I do want a relationship, I just want to take it slow. Like, okay, me too. What about me being intentional and knowing what I want said to you, I want it tomorrow with fucking anybody? Hello? Babe, if that was the case, I would have been in a relationship a long fucking time ago. I am dating with the intention of finding someone that could be a good fit for a long-term partnership with me. I also, like most people, will take my own time to develop feelings and feel comfortable and certain about someone. You can be both certain about what you want and clear about what you want, and also need time to grow into a relationship and know if you want someone. Just because you know that you're looking for a long-term connection doesn't mean you need to know for certain you want it with this person after a handful of dates. Where do y'all get off thinking that's how dating works? I don't know. I personally don't think this sounds great. I think if he was younger, I would have more grace here, but he's a full adult that is so deeply uncertain and unsure of both himself and what he wants. He can't even stick to an answer when you're talking about what you're looking for. I think that you deserve someone who knows what they want and is at a more secure place in life, if you want to know what I think. He lied to me 3 times about living with his parents. 23 female, 22 male. I asked him about his living situation, his lease, etc., and he just told me that he has 2 roommates who are a couple, how much he pays for his rent, how long he's been living there, and everything. Well, it turns out after our second date yesterday night that none of that is true and he actually lives with his parents. I was like, oh, we should go over to your house tonight. I stay over and we can bake some cookies and watch a Christmas movie. He told me, yeah, let's do it. So I packed some clothes and stuff and then go out to his car and he says, oh, I live with my parents. I would have been cool with him living with his parents because I get it, but the fact that he lied to me several times about it is almost throwing me off and making me feel like it was so easy for him to lie about this aspect of his life. What else is he hiding? Is this an unfair assumption for me to make? I mean, honestly, I think I would feel the same way that you feel. I understand why someone might feel embarrassed of living with their parents, but I think the quickness to lie about it would strike me as a red flag too, because especially when you're in your early 20s, someone living with their parents is not a red flag. I think a lot of people live at home in their 20s. Also, it's a very American thing to turn 18 and move out immediately. There are plenty of other cultures in the world where living at home well into your 20s, 30s, and beyond that is the norm, but I get it. I get why someone would feel embarrassed about it or might not want to bring it up. But I think once it has been brought up, once we're talking about living situations, you can't lie about it. Now, I would feel the same way that you do. I would definitely be weary of it and just be like, strange that you lied about this. But I think it could pretty easily be squashed with a conversation. I don't necessarily think this is a reason to stop seeing them or to not give them the benefit of the doubt. I think I would just personally bring up the fact that you are uncomfortable that he lied about it and just dig in a little bit, like, why weren't you just honest? Because I don't care and that doesn't bother me, and we're both young and it's hard to fucking afford a place to live in the times that we're living in right now. So why did you feel the need to lie? And let's just have an open conversation about this, because I would rather start this connection off on an honest foot. But if it turns out that he is just a compulsive liar, then that sucks. But I don't think we can make that assumption based off of this one thing where it seems like there's probably a more emotional reason, or he's insecure about it and that's why he lied, that I think we can hold space for and have an open conversation about without passing any more harsh judgments on him. Boyfriend said, I didn't see you as attractive when we first met, but I find you beautiful now. Is it wrong that I feel upset about this? Me and my boyfriend have been dating a year. We were cuddling in bed and he just said out of the blue, you weren't that attractive to me when we first met, but I find you beautiful now. I got upset about this and asked why he wanted to date someone he didn't find attractive, especially because we met on a dating app. He says he was originally just looking to meet new people and not get into a serious relationship, but I grew on him. He said it wasn't that I was ugly, but I just wasn't his type. I feel really insecure now, and that every compliment that he had ever given me about my beauty was a lie. Now I feel like he just settled for me. I already grew up somewhere where I do not meet the beauty standards, as I am a racial minority and have different features from the typical pretty girl, usually a white blonde or brunette, and I want to be with someone who always found me to be beautiful, not someone they just settled for because they couldn't find someone prettier. Is that so wrong? Well, first of all, they for sure shouldn't have said that to you. Why would they say that? I don't know. When people say shit like that, it's like, so why? So why did we do that? Why? It just feels like a very unnecessary inclusion. However, I don't think that because someone said their attraction to you grew over time and it wasn't this smack you in the face, love at first sight sort of thing, means that they love you any less, or that their attraction to you and your beauty is a lie. I think that's probably your own insecurities adding additional information to this story that is not necessarily true. People go from being friends to being in a relationship all the time. I've had crushes on friends before, and we've been friends for years beforehand, and then one day I literally just woke up and was like, what's going on here? And that doesn't mean I'm any less attracted to them than I would have been if I, the first day we met was like, I want to pursue them. I think sometimes our perception of people really shifts depending on the context with which we meet them. I don't know. I think attraction does develop sometimes. I don't think that everything has to be this smack you in the face, whirlwind romance, love at first sight in order for it to be real and powerful and genuine. I don't know. That feels like the Hollywoodification of attraction to me. I get why you're upset though, because I do think it's a weird thing for him to say. Why? Don't say that. It's just an unnecessary bit of information. I get why you'd be like, what the fuck? But I don't think that this is necessarily something you need to really internalize and be like he's faking his feelings or he settled for me, because I don't think that's the full picture. I think that maybe he's just a dumbass for saying it like this and wording it like this. And I get why you feel shitty about it, but I also don't think that this like negates his attraction to you and love for you in any way. And that is where I will wrap up today's video, my very last video of the year of 2023. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I'll be back in the new year with a bunch of new videos and would love to see you here. And thank you to all of you that are returning subscribers that continue to watch and support my videos. It means the whole entire world to me, and this is my dream fucking job, and I'm just so lucky to be able to do it. So thank you guys so much. If you're craving some extra content from me while I'm on a little bit of a break, you can go check out my podcast, Emotionally Online. I'm also on a break with the podcast, but listen, I've got 62 episodes for you to catch up on. Don't worry, bestie. We've got content waiting for you. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next year.